Miami gets beat over the head with a frozen hose. I'll talk about that and much more after this.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Good flipping evening / morning, fellow Fin fans. Right along with checking out our website, TFTGnetwork.com. You can also hit the links for Fanatics in the description below to make sure they know that we sent you. And also, while you're settling in after this heartbreaking loss, make sure you're checking out the links for Dubby too. Dubby is an energy drink. It's all natural, none of the garbage. Doesn't bring you down hard. Shake has tested them all out. Check out his reviews. All smash, no crash. Dubby energy drinks. Welcome this fine early morning on the east coast of South Florida, where the Dolphins have in fact froze to death in Kansas City tonight. And I don't just mean by the weather. I don't just mean by the cold. You could have played that game in Hawaii, and it would have been a frozen fish, because that's what we were tonight. It's heartbreaking. It's unfortunate. But I wanted to fire up this stream because I felt a few people, we had a lot of people watching the stream earlier when we shut it down. Cap's equipment crashed, but unfortunately, I felt I owed it to a lot of the people that follow me that were yelling for answers, something to make sense of all this mess. I know it's late, but some people got to hear this stuff before they go to bed. I didn't want to leave you all hanging with bouncing off the walls. So we're going to bring it down. We're going to talk about this debacle that is our team. Smoked the day's last cigarette. Drinking one last cup of coffee. Maybe 4. Toke on a little bit of this indica to try to take the edge off this horrible loss. I mean, look, the only thing I can say is that I don't really think that, there's very many people that are surprised. There's people that are disappointed because they expected to not feel this way. I always talk about the difference between expectation and prediction. It's one thing to predict that you're going to win. It's another to expect it, whether you think you can or not. And I think a lot of the people that knew ultimately how this would end, or felt they knew, there's those people that just wore it on their shoulders and continue to wear it on their shoulder. But there's those like myself. I've always told you guys since I came out to talk to everybody publicly a couple years ago. I've told you all from the beginning that I have a certain mindset in the off season, and then I shift towards, when the season starts, I usually shift towards my fan mode, which is telling you how we're going to win despite our deficiencies. So a lot of the times I don't necessarily harp on deficiencies all year, other than the ones that in particular affect the game we're talking about. But when it comes to, believing it's going to all fall apart again, I don't do that simply because I'm in a different mode during the season. Well, unfortunately, it's no longer in season. I have no obligation to tell anybody how we're going to win going forward because we don't have another game to play. But I mean, I don't know what to say anymore. That's why I wasn't going to go live tonight. I'm nauseous. I can't even the thought of coming to y'all and talking was just making me sick to my stomach. I'm not trying to have a pity party for myself, but it's just like, what do I say anymore? What is there left to say? Earlier in chat, I had said, I kind of made the announcement that you're going to see a lot more read-only color going forward. Read-only color is here. Because I simply don't have the energy or the calories left or the health to continue the staunch debate. I don't have the energy to repeat it all a third time. for a third off season. You all know where I stand, especially after tonight. I'm obviously still not convinced that Tua is, going to ever win us this type of game, or at least do what he's done in his wins to win us this type of game, because he didn't even do that tonight. And we're getting to the point where you have to ask yourself, will it ever change? I mean, what am I going to do? Sit here all off season and argue with people to the point of, personal attacks and all that, just to say the same things I've been saying for 2 seasons? There is no other than the ability to improve from last season to this season. Yeah, he improved. But there's still the question that, improvement or not, is that enough? Lots of people can improve. But is it enough? Well, if you're fine with saying, "Oh, shucks," believing in rainbows and sunshine, that, yeah, there's now we're in even if we were to shift to development mode in our thinking, what is there left to develop? The only thing I see left is teaching somebody how to play quarterback in the NFL. There's not any more adaptation to McDaniel's scheme. There's no more designing plays for Tua and his attributes. There is only execution. So for those that want to say, "Oh, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater yet, there's still development," well, that's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and debate where we're at now in that development. And I'm certainly not going to wait forever. And I certainly ain't going to pay for it. So if they want to throw him the bag, they're going to have to get it out of some other fan's pocket. What's up, Crypto? That performance tonight doesn't even give you hope. I've always told everybody, I'm an atheist. I'm not a man of faith. I could be one day. I'm agnostic, so I'm not an anti-theist, but I am not a man of faith. I don't put my faith in very much of anything, much less a human being. Yeah, trust issues. It is what it is. But now, I've always told you, despite faith, hope doesn't require faith. Faith might enhance hope. It might make you feel better about your hope. But hope doesn't require faith. I'm a fan of the team. I always hope. There's always a level of hope. And the irony here is I can use an analogy that was very apparent tonight in tonight's ball game. The cold. I don't know if you guys were aware of this or not. For those that don't follow, for those that have even a surface level knowledge of thermodynamics and, the nature of the universe, you might be aware of the fact that there's no such thing as cold. Cold is a emergent construct that we identify as the opposite of heat or the opposite of hot. But there's no such thing as cold. There is only lower amounts of heat. And on that note, the Kansas City Chiefs, mainly their quarterback, understood that we're not going to be cold because there's no such thing as cold. We're going to use whatever heat there is, and we're going to be the hot ones. Because compared to us, 5 or 10 degrees warmer was all they needed. We weren't even cold. Again, there's no such thing as cold. We were less hot to the point where no human could identify it as anything but cold. And I'm just watching this game tonight and I'm thinking, it dawned on me again what the difference is between the two quarterbacks. And I know everybody's going to say, well, that's Patrick Mahomes, Culler. Okay, take your choice. Did you notice when Patrick Mahomes would drop back to throw? If he had pressure, he had to make a quick decision, and he did, and he made the right ones. Guess why? Because he found the first guy open. And that's usually the biggest target, is tight end. But there was no design in that. There was read the blitz coming. The design was knowing what routes your receivers were going to run and knowing where they're going to be. And if you see one of them alone, you hope that you can find one of them alone within that 3 seconds that you're racing back to avoid the blitz. And you hope your arm is strong enough to get it there. Other than those plays, whenever you have a play where there's even a medium amount of protection, right, and the pocket opens up, where do you find Mahomes? Right at the 12 o'clock position in the pocket, ready to stand tall and deliver the football to whoever is open. That requires a certain amount of field vision too. On the other hand, when our quarterback drops back to throw, he has a perfectly protected pocket, and he wastes no time throwing into triple coverage. I don't understand that. If that's a play design, then we need to blame McDaniel. The last 4 seasons, across 2 coaches, several offensive coordinators, play callers, and years of watching football, I would surmise that it's not the coach's issue. I want to thank all 31 of you that are tuning in to listen to me rant. I really don't have much to say except to recap what happened tonight, post-game it, and talk about where we could possibly go from here. Lance McDonald, good evening. Dolphiner, Kevin Lee, first ones in the chat. Fins up 74. How you doing? Nene. You knew it, Nene. You knew it. I mean, we all did deep down inside, but you know, that's what I'm saying. Nothing surprising. Back It Up Binge podcast. Everybody check them out. They're pretty cool, man. On YouTube. G, how's it going? I'm not even going to do a Skylar comparison, G. There's nothing to compare. The guy grew up in Palmyra, Missouri, played his college ball in Kansas State. We built a running game because we knew we were going to need this type of a running game for this type of game. Late season, isn't that what we needed? Running game travels and all that. And we drafted a quarterback that grew up in that environment. Yet here we are. Greg Fontaine, how's it going? Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you earlier, Greg, but I was joking with you. But man, Greg reminds me of something I need to get at really quick. Banana, before I say hi, after I say hi to a couple more people. Banana, how you doing? 72 undefeated. OG Barry, I really appreciate the sentiments. OG, it's fun a lot of the time, you know, but not so fun the other times. Like 11 out of 19 times or 18 times it was fun this year. What can I say, right? Wasn't too fun to watch tonight. Bishop, how's it going? Carla, long time no see. He may just, in fact, get the bag, Carla. You may be right. And I really don't care at this point if that happens because the song remains the same and it ain't getting no better. I mean, we're talking about fundamental issues here. We're talking about issues. What's up, Chef Jew? We're talking about issues that there's nothing you can scheme about that. We're talking about just being a fundamental quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, that's what I just said. I made a very similar comment after Tua's first season, and I got roasted for it. Ended up having to retract the comment. Still got my feet held to the fire, even though I retracted it. But here we are again now, year 4. Second year with a new coach who has his own issues. I will give you that. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, there was things tonight that you would say, if we just had a fundamental quarterback, NFL quarterback, we probably would have won the game tonight, the way our defense played their hearts out. Sure, they got burned here and there. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. But I don't think anybody can or should and won't get any debate with me about it, fault the defense for any part of this loss tonight. None. And I'll tell you why. Let me first tell you the one thing they can be faulted with. If you sycophants want to go out there and have some ammo and talk about what you can blame the defense for, here, I'll steel man you right now. Listen up. Our average points per game this season is 23. Scored against us. It's a 17 game sample size. It's actually lower than it was last year. Lower. They scored 26 points against us. Our defense, shame on them for giving up 3 more points than their average. You know what that should have meant? That should have meant we won 30-26. And even if you don't believe in the averages, we certainly shouldn't be losing 26-7. In year 4 of a 5th overall draft pick, who it should be obvious to everybody cannot play at this level, tonight's level, not the NFL, tonight's level. But you know what? Tonight's game is the NFL. You can't just sit here and be like, hey, fun, 11-6 record. This is the NFL. We put 70 points on an NFL team. Yeah, true. All that's true. But this is the NFL too. And the ones that don't want to play in this NFL were already at home on the couch watching tonight's game. And what do you think they thought about their chances next year? Answer that. Think Buffalo's worried about winning the division again next year? Really? You think there's going to be that much improvement? All of a sudden, overnight, a guy is going to know how to stand in the pocket for more than 2.5 seconds and deliver the football to whoever's open in a big game. You think that's just going to happen this offseason all of a sudden? Mike McDaniel has proven that he can't call plays to overcome Tua's deficiencies. Shame on him. What do you think any team in the AFC's chances? What do you think the Texans thought about tonight's game? And their chances next year relative to ours? Because, yeah, we're going to go through the offseason. We're going to see the changes. We're going to bring the new people in. We're going to fix the holes where we're injured. We're going to fix the holes where we're going to lose players from contracts and all that nonsense. We're going to talk ourselves up. We're going to win the offseason again. We're going to talk about our Super Bowl chances again this offseason. We're going to psych ourselves out and believe that we've changed. And we're going to do the same thing we did this year. We're going to predict a 13-4 record. And we'll probably get 11 to 13 wins, depending on our schedule. But we're not getting past tonight's NFL because we don't have a tonight's NFL quarterback. Period. End of story. You could either recognize it now like most finally did in Tannehill's 4th year, or you can recognize it when he's almost getting to the Super Bowl on some other team, but failing. Which I doubt he could even do that. I doubt he could do what Tannehill did, which is add that 1.5 extra games per year to his resume because of Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and the likes of those guys. But he's never going to win you a championship. He is never going to play like we saw Patrick Mahomes play tonight. He is never going to play the way we saw Josh Allen play the other night. He is never going to play the way Lamar Jackson played the other night. So do we just resign ourselves to try to develop this guy and say, hey, maybe one day he'll learn how to play that way because we're going to get owned anyway by these three quarterbacks? Instead of trying to compete with them, we're just going to be like, nah, we'll develop Tua so that he's finally Joe Montana when all those guys retire. Really? Like, what team has ever done that before? Now, I don't like Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is just a shorter version of Tua. But even Kyler Murray tonight would have ate up some grass. God damn, it's freaking negative 9 degrees outside. You can't eat up grass on any defense? And if you think their defense was so awesome by the second half, no. Their defense was awesome because by the time they got their last field goal, okay, there was nothing they had to do but tee off on defense. We hadn't demonstrated to that point we could even get beyond the 50-yard line. Figuratively speaking, for the guys out there that hate stats but will still throw them in my face. I told you to put your punter on a plane. If you punted in this game, we got away with one. You punt more than twice, you're done in a playoff game against Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry to tell you. Baker Mayfield would have won tonight. Yeah, that's what I just said. That means Tua still has to get to that level. Even if you think he can and exceed it. When? When? We played 12 teams, or I should say we played 11 teams. One of them we lost to. We did get the one signature win against a quote-unquote good team. We'll see how they fare tomorrow. Or, yeah, tomorrow. We lost to a bad team. That wasn't okay. That happens. Shouldn't have happened, but it happens. And we beat 10 other trashy teams. Now, I give us credit for that because we blew those teams out. But that's where the yardage came from. Those are the teams that Mike McDaniel does have the ability to coach around Tua's deficiencies. These teams that we lost to are not the type of team you can do that. You need your quarterback to do that himself. Just is what it is. Never going to change. We wake up every Monday morning, usually after the divisional round of the playoffs. For us this year, it'll be after the wild card. And we realize, wow, we weren't even close. Our quarterback ain't even close. Patrick Mahomes has been throttling Tua his entire career. Just throttling him. Game over game. I don't know what else to say. These are the things I've said for so long. Now it's it's 4 years in now. We're saying the same things. It'll be the third time. We'll go over this box score of the game just to talk about, get juices flowing on something different for a minute. But this offseason, I'm going to go over the stats. I'm going to crunch all the numbers. I'm going to see how quarterback production improved or didn't from last year. I'm going to see how wide receiver production changed from last year to this year. I'll do all that stuff like I plan to. I just got to crunch the numbers. Call a few games throughout the playoffs. The season's not over for the NFL. I do enjoy playoff football immensely. I like to see what the standard looks like. Maybe some of them will be on my own channel. Maybe some of them over here if Cap wants to, or the other guys want to, call them with me. But I'm pretty much going into read-only mode. If you see me on a panel, I'm going to say what I have to say, and I'm going to shut up. I don't care what anybody else has to think about it, say about it, or anything that they have to say regarding Tua Tagovailoa. I really don't care. I'm done caring. What did I always tell you guys would happen when I stopped caring? You'll never hear me talk about it again. And in this case, you won't hear me debate it again because we're going to be talking about it. Until this guy's off the team, we're going to be talking about it. If he's never off the team, we're still going to be talking about it. If he becomes vice president of football operations, we're still going to be talking about it. And I also want to, before we get into the box score tonight, which is absolutely ridiculous. Before we get into that, I want to remind you guys of a term that I've put out there over the last couple years that I keep repeating. I keep explaining. I keep analogizing so it can be understood. As long as Tua is our quarterback, the Dolphins offense plays in a walled garden. For those in the far back of the room and those that have never listened to me before, first of all, welcome to Finn's Tailgate, and thank you for joining me for late night color commentary. I am your host, Culler. Make sure you're hitting the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's the one thing I got to announce here in a second. But for those of you that have not ever heard me before and don't know what a walled garden means, the term walled garden, when you have internet service with the phone company, actually most do now too, even cable services do this now too. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I had to step away a second. Most internet companies, okay, you have to pay them a monthly service, right? And if you don't, eventually they're going to cut you off. But you're going to go up to your computer and your little Windows network icon is going to be clear and it's going to say that you have internet. You're going to pull up a web page, try to go to Google, or actually you're going to try to go to Finn's Tailgate on YouTube. And you're, instead of going to the channel, it's going to redirect you to another page from your service provider that says, yo, give us a call. We have denied you access to DNS resolution service. They don't actually use those terms because most people don't know what all that is. But they're like, hey, this is the only page you can go to until you give us a call and pay your bill. Now, your internet, your computer is on the internet. You're connected to your service provider. You definitely are on the network. But in order to go to a web page, your computer has to be able to access what are called domain name servers that resolve numbers into names, and that's how you can surf to a page. And instead of shutting your connection off, they just temporarily deny you access to that. And it keeps redirecting to that page that tells you you need to give us a call and pay your internet bill. You are now in what's called, in the industry, in the IT industry, you are now what's called a walled garden. You have internet, you're connected, you just can't go anywhere. Now, some internet providers might be generous enough to let you go to the dictionary. That's our offense. Actually, it was our offense under Flores, right? That was the size of our walled garden. Then we brought McDaniel in, offensive guru, which I don't say, I hate the word guru, but he is pretty brilliant with some of his play designs. We bring in a $30 million wide receiver that's chasing a record in yardage. We do all these things on offense to make sure our quarterback can stay healthy for the whole year. We change out our defense. Mainly IE coordinator and some personnel and scheme and all that. And that gets clicking. So McDaniel basically found a way to hack the system, right? He hadn't paid his internet bill. The Dolphins haven't. And they brought him in to hack the system. They brought him in to say, if I just do this type of thing on the phone company's connection or the internet company's connection, I can get us to access these few pages. Oh, they don't know it. But he's only a good enough hacker. And the equipment's limited anyway, because you can only, even if you were to break through that, you could still might be limited as to how much you could break through it. So he got us going to all these other web pages. A lot of them are the porn sites, right? You know what I mean? He's like, all right, I hacked in. But you're still in a walled garden. You may have been able to get out. You may have been able to bring more pages into that walled garden, but you're still in a walled garden. All you've done is expand the content of your walled garden. So McDaniel basically took our offense, and which was let's say, I'm just going to throw numbers out there for comparison so you can understand the change. Let's say our offense was playing in a walled garden that had a 50-yard range. All McDaniel did was expand that to a 70-yard range. But all these other teams that are going deeper than us and outclassing us at quarterback, tonight it was the Chiefs, so I'm going to point to them and Patrick Mahomes. They paid their bill. They're not in a walled garden. They can literally do anything they want. I mean, obviously, our defense is going to try to stop them from doing that. But generally speaking, especially when you have an advantage in the cold, they're going to do what they want. Mahomes is surfing all over all kinds of porn. Actually, he's on some decent sites. But then there's Kelsey over there looking up in the box seat, surfing all the porn sites with his girl Swift in the balcony. They're doing whatever the fuck they want. They're not in a walled garden. So we're left in a conundrum. Do we blame Mike McDaniel for not paying the bill? Do we credit him for expanding that walled garden to at least make it more fun to have 11 wins? And a chance, I guess. A chance for our quarterback that refuses to pay the bill? Yeah, Kevin, that's pretty much. I mean, that the Wildcats a great offense, but in the NFL, it's limited. It's a walled garden. We were only going to go as far as we did that year. Now, we as fans have to research and evaluate. Now, we don't have to. None of it. Everybody's can do whatever they want. But as far as a fan, you have to, however deep your research gathering is, or lack of depth, whatever, we have to evaluate. We have to decide for ourselves. Is Tua responsible for the bill? Is Mike McDaniel responsible for the bill? Is Ross responsible for the bill? And when I say Ross, I'm including Greer, because ultimately Ross could make Greer do whatever he wants. I don't necessarily even blame Greer at this point. Other than the refusal to do what it takes to get an upgrade at quarterback when we had 3 opportunities. I want to remind you all, a rookie quarterback put up 45 points on another team that was led by a Super Bowl champion. A rookie. And you want to talk about, I don't have a fair expectation that our 5th overall pick would have been game ready by year 4? I don't give a damn who's at the helm. Tua could be making this stuff happen for himself whether Flores, McDaniel, Donald Duck, whoever the coach is. Excuse me. Deshaun Watson got $300 million after a 4-12 season. That's how clear it was. Now, that remains to be seen as to whether that's ever going to pan out or whether the Browns got screwed. But don't think that's off the table yet, just because everybody wants him to be in their feels about not getting him. As TD said, shout out to TD Fins Talk. That's right, the guy that's been spot on to his entire career. As much as everybody hated on him, and still does. TD said that he didn't even expect Deshaun Watson because he was prepared to, when the whole lawsuit thing was going on, TD was prepared to accept it even if he had to go to jail for a year. Because he is eventually going to be that guy. It's just a matter of time. Barring continued injury, obviously. And I'm glad you're asking that. Resident Bills fan, Josh Allen is the next Carson Wentz, asks, Culler, do you think it's reasonable to think Tua still has more upside? Or do you think you are who you are by year 4? Great question. No and yes. In that order. No, I think there's no more upside. And yes, I think you are what you are by year 4. And I don't care what the reason. We talk about, how hard it was on Tua for the first couple seasons of his career. How do you think it feels to lose Super Bowl memorabilia in a fire? I forgot to mention that a couple of weeks ago. Or throughout the last couple of weeks. It dawned on me, when Tyreek said that he had lost a lot of things he had earned in life. He was talking about that kind of stuff. How do you think it feels to lose that kind of stuff? And still have to go out on the field and perform at a Hall of Fame level? I'll let that simmer. In the meantime, let's go over some of this box score for tonight. This debacle in Kansas City. Obviously, our season is done. So the projections are pointless. Our probabilities of going anywhere after tonight are 0%. The wave function has collapsed to 0. And we'll get to preview what next week's going to be like tomorrow with a full slate of games where we get to sit on the couch and watch football. At least our players will be joining us next week. If they even care to see what champions look like and what championship level play looks like. If they even care. I'm not sure all of them do. To be quite honest with you, I'm not sure all of them do. Before I get started on the box score, again, I want to remind everybody to please like and share. We've got a bunch of you watching, like 45 or so. And it's really late. And thank you for the compliment, Larry K. Appreciate you. Everybody say hi to Larry K. He's in the chat. He's up late reeling. Check out his after game rant. They're always good. That's Fanatics Fury, Larry K. Again, I want to welcome Jeff Jew once again, ambassador at large for the entire Dolphins community. Yeah, tough year, B. McD. I mean, the journey was fun, but it's not about the journey anymore. To me, I mean, I can't say I'm disappointed with the journey. Had a lot of fun times this year. We did a lot of great things, even against bad teams. We did things against bad teams that a lot of good teams don't do. Now imagine what we can do with a better quarterback. Just imagine for a second if we have 1% better play at quarterback. So I'm going to get on this poll real quick. It's going to be a really easy one, but I have to know. Who do you get rid of? Mike McDaniel? Tua? Neither. Hashtag run it back. Or both. And beg for Harbaugh. There's the poll. Make sure you get your answers in, everybody. 46 of you watching. I want to see at least 46 results. That makes it more accurate. The more results we get, the more accurate these polls are. Obviously, larger sample size, the better. Share this video out. Let everybody know there's a poll to be voted on, a very important one that I need to know from the fan base. I am taking a temperature of the fan base, not, let's see, about 2.5 hours after Miami ended their season in Kansas City tonight by losing to the Chiefs 26-7 and getting completely outclassed and embarrassed at the playoff level once again. So there's the question. Who stays, who goes? McD, Tua, both, or neither? Get your votes in. That's where I tend to lie too, Larry K. But look. It almost feels like if Ross is going to veto anything, it's going to be everybody. But I'd rather that not happen. Remember everybody. I was the guy that said give McD a 10-year contract coming in the door because I'm so tired of the revolving door, and I really do believe in this guy's concepts in the West Coast. I don't believe in the West Coast. I really don't like it, but I believe in his concepts inside of a West Coast. They're really brilliant. Now, whether he ever evolves into be able to use that code, or evolving to be able to understand that he needs somebody else to use that code, it's still I think that code is really, really good. I really do. When you're there watching it live, some of the plays that develop are just so brilliant. Stuff I've never seen in football before. But everything has a shelf life, and you have to expand, and you have to know when to call certain things. Still, doesn't matter if your offensive and your schemes are innovative. You still have to call the right play at the right time. Not just schematically, but like just the right play at the right time that makes sense for what the defense is doing to you. That's what I think that McDaniel failed to do a lot. It seems like he's calling plays just because he believes they'll work. Not even caring what the defense is putting out there. That's what I've always said. So tell me, guys, throw it up in chat. What do you want me to start? What position you want me to start with on offense? Running back, wide receiver, or receivers, quarterback? Which one you want first? I'll take the first answer. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back. All right, Samuel says QB, so the QB it is. Tua. 20 for 39. 199 yards passing, 5.1 average, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks, giving up 11 yards. A passer rating of 63.9. And a QBR. Am I reading this right? Do they go that low? 15.8. I said teen. 15, not 50. 15.8 QBR. Patrick Mahomes. In the same weather conditions. Arguably less weapons. 23 for 41. 262 yards. 6.4 yard average. 1 touchdown. 0 interceptions. 0 sacks. An 83.6 passer rating. And an 88.3 QBR. In negative 9-degree temperatures. That is stellar. And that is going to win every single time. So now we'll move on to the running backs. Raheem Mostert, 8 carries for 33 yards, 4.1 average. Tua, not much less than that. 3 carries, 25 yards at 8.3 average. Good for him finally getting himself out the damn pocket. Had a long of 14. Jalen Waddle had 1 run for 9 yards. And Devon Achane, 6 carries for 9 yards. For a team total of 76 yards on 18 carries. Now, you might say, Culler, we only had 18 carries. Did we pass the ball 40 times? No, we didn't. We passed the ball 39 times, which, by the way, was really a lot less when you talk about actual game action. When we started racking up the passes towards the end. But interestingly enough, as I said all season, Tua has a 6% touchdown percentage, which means he's throwing a touchdown for just about every 40 to 45 passes thrown. The Chiefs did what they had to do when it counted, which is how you win a playoff game. The Dolphins did not. Isaiah Pacheco, to illustrate that, had 24 carries for 89 yards and 1 touchdown. Mahomes himself had 2 carries for 41 yards. In case you thought Tua did all right running the ball and scrambling, yeah, not playoff good. Stuff he should have been doing all season so that he could be playoff good. On the wide receiver side and receivers in general, Tyreek Hill, 5 receptions on 8 targets for 62 yards and a 12.4 average, and the sole touchdown of the game, which came on a 53-yard, whatever you want to call it, pass. Cedric Wilson, 3 receptions on 7 targets, 37 yards. River Craycraft, 2 receptions on 3 targets for 33 yards. Jalen Waddle, 2 receptions for 31 yards on 5 targets. Achane in the flat, however, did a little better than the run. 3 receptions for 21 yards on 6 targets. Jeff Wilson, 1 reception on 2 targets. Braxton, all zeros, 1 target. Raheem Mostert, 2 targets, 1 reception for -3. And once again, our tight end, Durham Smythe, 3 receptions on 4 targets. Wow, he dropped one, which I could argue was a terrible pass. But it happened. So now he's 20 for 22 in his last 6 ball games. But he was 3 for 4 for 12 yards. Again, seriously underused. Compared to his counterpart, which is obvious, it's Travis Kelce, 7 receptions for 10 targets, 71 yards. But I think any tight end could have done that. Rasheem Rice, 8 receptions on 12 targets for 130 yards and 1 touchdown. Those are their standouts. That's all it took. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 1 fumble, recovered by Deshaun Hand of the Miami Dolphins. That's the only fumbles of the night. Duke Riley, 10 total tackles, 2 solo, 1 QB hit. Deshaun Elliott, 9 total, 3 solo. Brandon Jones, 8 total, 4 solo, 1 QB hit. Cater Kohu, 7 total, 6 solo, as always. David Long Jr., 7 total, 5 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. Eli Apple, 5 total, 5 solo, good for him, 1 tackle for loss. Jalen Ramsey, 5 total, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflected. Defended, I should say. On the line, Malik Reed also with 5 tackles, 1 solo. Emmanuel Ogbah along the line, 4 total, 2 solo, 1 pass breakup. And by the way, that was a brilliant play. Almost could have brought us back into the game if he catches it. Zach Sealer, 4 total tackles, 1 pass deflection. Deshaun Hand, 3 total, 1 solo. Christian Wilkins, 3 total tackles, 1 QB hit. Ethan Bonner, 2 total, 2 solo. And that pretty much rounds out the group of anybody more than that. Dolphins finished the season 11-7. The regular season 11-6 after dropping the division to Buffalo. And that pretty much sums up the night and the season. I think tonight's game was a microcosm of our entire season and what we've been for the past 4 years. And I just don't see how it's going to change. And if you're just going to tell me time and development, I don't believe it. There's no way to prove that or show evidence of that until it happens. There's a lot of evidence to show that it won't, but I'm still not willing to say that. But I am begging Stephen Ross to intervene. And don't let this happen. Please don't let this happen. I'll give another year if it's on the 5th year money. That's it. And you better be pulling something up in the wings, and you better be putting competition on the field in training camp. Other than that, gone. Please, Mr. Ross, intervene. I really, really love this team. I loved it my whole life. And I don't want to continue to pay for this garbage. I don't want to continue to rep this garbage. I'm saying you either don't understand what a real quarterback is and you don't understand what real football is, or you just don't care. But if you intervene here, it shows you do know football and you do care. Veto it. Please. I mean, please don't let this happen. It's boring. It's a whole bunch of wasted energy for nothing. Whoop-de-doo, rah-rah, we got to a playoff game again. And again, we're not even competitive. It's not even close. Nobody's going to tell me that our roster isn't close. Nobody's going to tell me that we couldn't have got the ball in our playmakers' hands tonight and ate up some grass. It's not hard. I mean, it's hard to do, but it's not hard to understand what you have to do. When you construct a roster like that with these playmakers, it becomes very clear what you have to do in a game with temperatures this cold. It's very easy to see what you have to do. Those commentators tonight were praising Andy Reid like he was some kind of god because he had the balls to pass the ball. oh my God. First of all, it ain't rocket science. I told you all week long about the weather. About one important facet of tonight's weather. The dew point. Remember you talking about the dew point? I told you what would happen if the temperature fell below the dew point. Which for most of the game, we got lucky it didn't. We had plenty of chances. Now, I did notice one thing I do need to make clear real quick that wasn't clear at first, but it's still not an excuse because we had plenty of chances when we were going the direction that was obviously favoring both offenses tonight. It looked to me like left to right on the screen, whichever direction that was, east or west or north or south, I don't know. But left to right on the screen tonight looked like it was a little harder to move the ball. It looked like that the wind was blowing pretty good in everybody's faces. So it was hard on defense when you're going that way, and it's hard on offense. It was hard for both teams. That's what became apparent to me when our defense kept getting stops when they were going that direction. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on now. We turned around and had a little success. We started to have some success running the ball. We threw that deep ball. You know what I mean? Yeah, short, but whatever. And it seemed like we were playing more like the Chiefs were in the first quarter, which told me, oh, maybe there is, but maybe the wind is okay. That's a problem, but definitely by the end of this game, you realize that's not even near an excuse, not even close. The way the Chiefs moved the ball, because by the end of the game, the Chiefs were moving the ball that direction too. So there's they overcame, we didn't. But I told you all that if the temperature fell below the dew point, that everything in that stadium, every surface in that stadium was going to get a coat of ice and freeze. Now that didn't happen till later in the game. That's why you noticed. I got to tell you something else too, but that I was right about. But either case, but the benefit of it not falling below the dew point was that the conditions in the air and on the ball and things like that were going to be actually fairly dry. Now the ball might have been heavy. It's not that the ball is heavier at that point because it was dry, but it's that it's so cold. There's very little heat to help that ball slide through the air. And so it seems like you're throwing a heavy ball. And you saw that to start the game, even with Mahomes. But once he got the feel for the physics of the ball and the fact that it was dry, he's slinging that thing all over the place. And Andy Reid was right to pass the ball 41 times or however many they did. 49 times. I don't know what it was. So it wasn't rocket science to me. These commentators, oh, how bold of him, how courageous to pass the ball. What a bold decision. No, it wasn't. It's a very clear and easy decision, in my opinion. You get the ball while it's still dry into the hands of your playmakers while it's that cold, and they are going to eat up grass. Despite all of that, our defense just kept giving us a chance to win. Our defense kept giving us a chance to win. Even by the end of the third, we still had a chance to do the Baltimore Ravens thing. And it was just like we had nothing. Like, Yeah, Kelsey's getting there, Viper. I think he's almost done. But he made some catches when he needed to. Yeah, he dropped a couple solid ones. But that, now the early drops, no excuse. But now towards the end of the game, the temperature did finally fall below the dew point and things started to get slick. And that reminds me of something else I noticed, as I predicted would happen. You can't be out in that type of cold for longer than 3 minutes without your hands starting to burn like somebody is holding a match to them. And Tua did, in fact, decide to eventually put on some gloves. Now, I didn't notice that. It didn't dawn on me till late in the game, which I thought, well, yeah, if it fell below the dew point and it's starting to get frozen out there and wet, then yeah, you got to put on gloves. But somebody had told me in chat that he had them on since the first quarter. I didn't notice, but I have to go back and look at that. But I knew he would. Devon Achane was out there in pregame with no sleeves. That changed. I love it. Bravado. Hey, the cold don't give two shits about bravado. It'll burn your skin right off. V21 says he started with gloves. Yeah, because it only took being out in that stuff for 10 minutes. Didn't matter if you were hyped up and had a lot of energy or not, especially with the wind blowing the way it was, because the wind will strip every bit of heat off your freaking skin almost instantly. That's why the wind chill is what it is. That's why the wind chill is so much colder than the actual temperature. The feels like, the reason it quote unquote feels like that is because the wind is the moving air is stripping every bit of heat off your skin. It's basically putting you into space. It's removing the barrier between you and outer space, basically. Now, obviously, not that drastic. It's not that cold, but you get my drift. You have no, like, your heat is gone. It gets stripped right off your skin. Not all of it, obviously, because there's never zero heat. Otherwise, there'd be zero motion in the universe. Now, even the most staunch two-and-ear would agree that the difference maker in the NFL in these types of games is your quarterback. Yet all they've shifted to is, oh, he'll get that eventually. We just need more time, more development. How do you develop that? Somebody please tell me, give me some kind of suggestion as to how you develop in a fifth year in the National Football League the ability to play quarterback. How do you develop that? What do you do? And I'm not talking about your basic play quarterback. No, I'm talking about I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, I know how to get the guy more vision in the secondary. I know how to get put him in a situation where he has more time to this and that, but I don't know how to do it for him. I'm not knocking the man for needing gloves, AB. I'm knocking all the people that thought that these players could go out there and be all Mr. Badass in that cold. And every one of them that tried had sleeves or gloves on by the start of the game. I thought they would have figured that out hanging outside the hotel room for a little bit, before the game. Like, oh no, we didn't do that. We just jumped right from a helicopter from the plane to the hotel and never had to experience the outside, I guess. And here's another thing. We're going to do this right now. And I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about it anymore. Come at me. I don't really give a shit. We're going to do this right now. People have to keep, diminishing people for no reason to prop up another man. All of that stuff with words like trash and, oh, this and that. I've heard, oh, this guy's going to be a grocery bagger guy at Publix. I've heard all kinds of stuff. I've heard all kinds of stuff. We're going to do this right now. It has to be done. And there's a reason it has to be done. Oh, that's right. I have to go get that stat line because it's not updated on the Football Reference yet. Hold on just a sec. Let me get back to the box score from tonight. Reading success rate. They don't have that number yet, so I won't be able to compare that one. 44.7. Bear with me for just a second. I'm getting there. Okay. I won't have that number yet either. But I'm looking for one in particular. If I could find the dang thing, you know what? I'll just go this way. I'm sorry. Bear with me, people. I'm just going a different way to get the numbers I need. And it's going to take me just 1 second longer. Go here. Got a bunch of dials and buttons to push over here. It's a real pain sometimes. Let's see. Schedule. $2022. Oh, that's where we want to be, right there. All right. No, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at the game. Oh, that's what I wanted to click on. Okay, now I've got the box score for that. Okay, good deal. So we heard to his stat line tonight, 20 for 39, 199 yards, 5.1 average, 1 TD, 1 interception. QBR, 15.8, rating, 63.9. Ooh, wow, he had a better rating. QBR, not so much. Skylar Thompson, last year in his playoff game, yeah, that's who I said, Skylar Thompson. Last year in his playoff game against Buffalo, was 18 for 45, 220 yards, 4.9 average, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. While a lower passer rating of 44.7, a higher QBR of 23.3. Tyreek Hill was 7 for 15. That's 8 drops. Jalen Waddle was 3 for 7. That's 12 drops. Oh, Durham Smythe was 1 for 1, by the way. Gesicki was 2 for 6. That's 16 drops. Jeff Wilson was 1 for 4. That's 19 drops. Trent Sherfield, 0 for 2. That's 21 drops. And at least one of those drops, at least one of them, would have got us one more touchdown. We lost that game 33 to 31. Tonight we lost 26 to 7. Against a team that put up less offense against us. We had a better defensive performance. Here's my issue. And it really doesn't have to do with Skylar in particular, as opposed to Tua. Now, I don't have any answers for you, AB. AB, the answers you're looking for were on the field tonight. We built the number 1 running game in the league. There's a reason we did that. Y'all remember what that reason was? I'm not talking about to help Tua or to make our offense more productive or any of that sort. Not to mask deficiencies. None of that. What did we build a running game for? And what have we been calling for a running game for 30 years? Can anybody answer that question? Why have we been calling for a running game, a strong running game, and built one for so many years? Why did we finally do it? What was the reason we wanted it? How about running game? Nobody knows? None of you long-term fans know? We got to get Scar some kind of merch or something because Scar's paying attention. That's a good one. That's a close answer, Supreme Science says, because Marino never had one. B. McD says balance. That's a good one too. But the main reason was for late season NFL, dare I say, playoff football. And the cold. We from Miami. We loaded up a few boys on our team that are from cold weather states. Zach Sealer, Durham Smythe, a few other guys. And Scar 305 nailed the answer. We built a running game and we're calling for it for so long. For this game itself. This very game. And if we were able to back up the defense a little bit with some kind of, somewhat of a passing game, which we built to be first, because we also have a number one of those too. So it's good. It's there. But with that running game and that solid everything, defense, that was also why we needed a good defense, because defense, what's the old saying? Now the man whose stat line I just read to you from the last playoff game, who arguably, tough to argue, but arguably had a better playoff performance than Tua. That man was sitting on the bench tonight, a frozen bench, as our number 3 emergency quarterback. And this man was born in Palmyra, Missouri. When this man went out in his backyard and like the rest of us and pretended like he was Dan Marino, he did that in Palmyra, Missouri. That's in the Northeast. That's north of St. Louis, a couple hours. And they get feet of snow in Palmyra, Missouri, on top of inches of ice, on top of feet of snow in Palmyra, Missouri. I've been there. When I tell you all that I have on occasion been in sub-zero temperatures on a roof at 2 a.m, engineering a satellite, with negative 20-degree wind chills, doing my job to perfection. One of those places was in Palmyra, Missouri. I know the place well. This gentleman went on to have it to play his college career in Kansas State. Now, I'm wondering if any of you can guess, or at least hypothesize or theorize, why we may have drafted somebody at quarterback who was born in Missouri and played at Kansas State. What would be a logical reason while building that running game to draft a quarterback like that? Can anybody guess? Come on, Scar. I know you can do it. Because despite what two and ears think, it's for the same reason that we built a running game and needed a running game until proven otherwise. Now, he may not have worked out to the satisfaction of wanting to start him, but we had a guy that's native to that state, to those conditions, sitting on the freaking bench tonight while we sat there and watched a guy from Hawaii do absolutely nothing with the football for 4 quarters. You can't make this up. I couldn't write a better comedy. And you're telling me that I'm supposed to expect that a 5th overall draft pick in his 4th year is going to get better than that all of a sudden? If that's what you're telling me, then I would rather play the guy from Palmyra, Missouri in this game tonight after what I just saw. You can call him whatever you want. You can call him by his birth name, Skylar Thompson, or you can call him trash. I don't care what you call him. But you better recognize that we ain't got much better at QB1. And the result's going to be the same. V21 says it's just a coincidence. I know it is. But optics are everything. And given the stat line I just read from his performance last year in the playoff game, you get one of those drops, caught, and he's having a 300-yard game. And likely another touchdown. And we likely win that game. We sat here all week and talked about one bad pass thrown to Tyreek that he should have caught. But we want to excuse 4 different receivers in our last playoff game. We want to blame that on Skylar. The guy from Palmyra, Missouri. B. McD said we drafted him to emulate Josh Allen, and I'm glad you said that, B. McD, because that was the first thing Two and Ears said when we drafted another quarterback to help themselves sleep at night. And while I do believe that's true, my problem with it is if the guy can emulate, let me say this very clearly and very concisely, and measured so everybody can understand, because it's very simple logic. If he has the ability to emulate Josh Allen, why is he not our starter? Because even a close approximation of Josh Allen tonight would have won that game. What do you mean, Viper? Maybe he can't. But even a close approximation would have won tonight. And don't forget that there's proof that that's what we brought him in here for. Because we had him trying to emulate Lamar Jackson, if you guys remember from Hard Knocks. Not because he's as fast or agile as Lamar Jackson, not because he's as strong and has a big arm as Josh Allen, but because he can get the fuck out of the pocket quickly and extend a fucking play. That's why he can emulate those guys. Is that clearly enough? And he would have won tonight. Man, see that? Flew right over your head, Tony. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Mike, okay? But even a close approximation would have won our game tonight. I don't care if it would have beat you. I don't care if it's better than Josh Allen. It would have won tonight. You guys are going to push me into saying it. I know you're trying to push me into saying it. Okay? Mike fucking Glennon would have won tonight. Did you hear me? Mike fucking Glennon would have won tonight. I'm done holding that back. Yes, Mike Glennon sucks. But I don't care if Tua is better than Mike Glennon or not. What we saw tonight sucks. It doesn't belong in the NFL. It's garbage. Yeah, V21, the dude with the long neck, the giraffe. And yes, I'm exaggerating. I'm exaggerating to make a point. And don't give me the 22 guys shit the bed crap. I'm done with the team fucking loss bullshit. Like I said, read-only color coming soon. Read-only color. I ain't going to be debating with y'all on that shit. Don't worry, Tony. Comments like that are not going to be addressed going forward after tonight. Yeah, you go tell that to the offense, and they'll be like, well, I appreciate, I respect your right to say that, but respectfully, we have a Tua. And if you go to the defense and say that this whole team was crap, they'll probably punch you in the mouth. Go say that to the defense. People have said, oh, our team is soft, and we push back, and even I've pushed back. But you know what I realized tonight? Why it looks that way? Is because our offense is soft. Our defense is fine. Our defense played their hearts out 2 weeks in a row now. They were busting people in the mouth. They have been. It's our offense that's soft. And since that's the identity of our team, our offense, the identity of our team is soft. I mean, this is stuff we've all said. I had to hold off because we're winning. I mean, what are you going to do? Now there's nothing else to talk about except this or nothing. What are we supposed to talk about? How we're going to win next week? Y'all want to talk about how we're going to win next week? Next week's a long way away. Crypto's like, yes, Culler. It's a long way away, Crypto. Closer to what, 30 something weeks. Well, you know, Dylan, the whole thing of it is, bro, we could never know, to be honest with you. We can never know whether whether, you know, given a catch here or a catch there, that we could have won that game or not. We honestly would never know. But even without that, 2 points in a playoff game is competitive. That's respectable. That's the track we were on. What the hell happened? We were outclassed tonight. We were not outclassed last year in Buffalo. I don't even think we were outclassed last week per se, except at quarterback. And maybe wide receiver 3. I have no more answers but to continue to say what is in front of my eyes. That's all I have left to go on. There's no stats to talk about in the off season. There's only results. I mean, we'll talk about it as far as a progression change or production change year over year. But I'm not you. There is no debate. 4,600 yards does nothing for you tonight. Nothing. And for those of you that think we're just going to get lucky and dodge these types of games in this type of weather, well, good luck. We're going to hear, oh, well, if we'd have just beat Buffalo or we'd have just done this or that, then we wouldn't have even had to go to Kansas City. Well, what difference does that make? We would have just got outclassed in a warmer environment. Did you see CJ Stroud today? I bet when you all were not y'all, I'm talking to people. Those people know who I'm talking to. Okay, I bet when you all saw the Texans win today, you were like, "Oh, cool. We'll have to go to the Texans if we win tonight." Why? You want a weaker team? Well, they ain't a weak team, people. They are not a weak team. I don't want to fire McDaniel. But if he's going to continue to ride with this quarterback, it is incumbent upon him to figure out a way to win despite his deficiencies. Because if he doesn't, he's gone. And I don't think he really can. So, yeah, if you're going to ride with this quarterback, you might as well. I will say McDaniel needs to be fired because it's not working. If they're tied at the hip, then they both got to go. I am tired of watching every other coach and every other quarterback break out in their first couple years. I'm tired of watching it without a Dolphins logo on it. And no, we didn't break out this year. We expanded our walled garden. That's what we did. We expanded our walled garden. We didn't improve at all. If it was even respectable tonight, I'd say, dang, we freaking didn't get it. We 11-6. We got to the playoffs. We have hope for next year. I can't say that tonight. I wanted to be able to say that. I was hoping for at least respectability. Respectability would have told me that Tua has a spark, has something to work on, has something to grow on. What's that, like 10 games in a row now? in these moments that are completely outclassed? Is that what we're up to now? 10? How many is it? Pepper a team win against the Dallas Cowboys in there? Okay, fine. Thank God for small favors. Everybody hit the like button. I know it's hard to tonight. I know nobody likes what I'm saying tonight. Some people are cool with it because they know, but it's still not fun to say or hear. I'm not relishing this at all. I am taking no pride or no victory lap. I am doing no gloating here, and I will be not gloating at all. This is stupid. I don't want anybody to sit here and be like, well, we told you so. No. We know what y'all said. There was no reason other than to just say things can't get better to agree with you at the time. Well, now I do. Because I'm agreeing with myself from last offseason and the offseason before that. I don't roll that way during the season, especially when we won 5 more games than we lost. I don't care who the opponents are. That's a credit to the team and to what Mike McDaniel is doing. That's why I don't want to get off of Mike McDaniel. But if Mike McDaniel goes into Stephen Ross's office tomorrow and says he wants one more chance with Tua, you send them both out of the building. Please, Mr. Ross, take a stand. Do something about this mistake. Do not let it happen. All I can do is ask. I'm a peon nobody. Paying fan, customer, whatever you want to call it. Don't let this happen, man. 78 of you watching it, 2:30 in the morning on the east coast of Florida. I'm sure we've got some West Coast guys up in here and gals up in here now. Appreciate you listening to me. I didn't want to do this tonight. I wanted to do it tomorrow, but I was sick about it. But I owe it to people who wanted some answers from me. Deuce, I know you were yelling for me to go on, so I felt I owed it to y'all to say something right away. I don't run from nothing. It is what it is. I can't say I was surprised. I'm not surprised. Disappointed. Kind of surprised that the guy couldn't do something better than we've seen. Like with so many chances and opportunities tonight, like I have to admit, I am surprised that we didn't at least show that, Tua didn't at least show something we hadn't seen before in these games. That I am surprised about. Because he has been improving. But I'm not so sure he's been improving on the stuff we thought he was improving on. And I'm not so sure that stuff can be improved upon. And I know everybody's going to be like, but you just don't know. Well, I don't know. And I don't really care at this point. I told y'all I stopped caring. It's nameless, faceless quarterback to me until proven otherwise. If we roll with him again, It's nameless, faceless quarterback to me until he proves otherwise. Oh, Tony, I believe they'd get something for him. Just because there's still 50% of the NFL that thinks they can win with this crap, with this style of crap. Not Tua himself, but this style of crap. With a just-a-guy quarterback. Oh, I'm sure the 49ers would eat him right up. Probably even be Arizona would eat him right up. Because that would allow them to try to get off of Kyler. But and Tua might actually do all right in Arizona. The air is really dry and thin there. So, hey, Colorado would be another one. Sean Payton with Tua in the Mile High Stadium 8 times or 9 times a year. Tua could sling the ball in that stadium. I mean, let's be real. If he insists on continuing a career and expanding his game, then he's going to have to be like a hitter that's not really good at home runs going to Denver so he can hit home runs. The air's thinner there. To his arm would look better there. So at least you got that 8 or 9 times a year if you're the Denver Broncos. So I know I don't think anybody would give a first at this point, Dylan, and that's the problem. We would command one. We would take nothing less, and as such, we wouldn't trade him, and we'd keep going with him. Because Greer is convinced that he's got first-round value. That's why he drafted him in the first round in the first place. I don't know, Cohen. What did Marino win? A playoff game or two? The admiration of everybody that's ever watched this game. That's something to earn. Tua don't even have the admiration of his whole fan base. Keep bringing that stupid shit up. You just make yourself look dumb. Especially after the tonight. What did Marino ever win? I mean, grow the fuck up. That's what this fan base needs to do. Is grow the fuck up. Stupid little comments y'all make all the time. It's so freaking stupid. Just to prop up some nobody. I'm starting to think Tua was installed, if you know what I mean. Is he one of those? Everybody loses their career around the guy because he was installed. Somebody upstairs chose him. Yeah, do a little research of what's going around in current events, AB. You'll know what I mean. Oh, 72 of you. Wow, I appreciate y'all listening to my rant. Make sure you're hitting the like button. I got to take 5 a second. I'm going to shut it down here in a couple of minutes. I wanted to give people a chance to talk, but we're going to have an open panel tomorrow on the Finn's Tailgate. But I did want those who wanted to hear from me. Look, I just don't have the energy to interact with people tonight up on a panel. I mean, if any of my teammates want to come up and say something, sure. Crypto, if you need the link. But I'm Insomnia with the cryptocurrency connection is going to be on here premiering at 3:00. That's in about 19 minutes, and you're going to hear retro. I appreciate that, AB. I don't know if you're being sincere or not, but I'd like to believe you are, and I believe the best in people. So, thank you for that. I sincerely thank you, because I'm gonna feel better about it 2 weeks from now. You know how I am, bro. I just can't right now, man. I just can't right now. I can't see any good out of this game tonight and out of our future. I know you're not, but that's ultimate. It's written all over your back. But you'll be able to hear Shake and Crypto's retro takes, I guess you could call them, on the week. There's still plenty of game action coming up tomorrow that you can hear their picks on. But obviously the game tonight and the game earlier today will be in retro, but that premieres at 3:00 with a live chat. It's not a live show, but it's got a live chat. So I will be shutting it down here in a second. If I can't think of anything else to talk about for 15 minutes or so. And then the 70 of you that are still watching, if you want to still chop it up with each other, you can head over to there, which I'll post a link for. It's on the Finn's Tailgate, same channel. It's a live premiere, so the chat will be live. Let me get the link here. Do I not have the link yet? Oh, no. Don't have the link yet. I don't know why. But I promise it'll be there. It's showing in StreamYard anyway. Let me see if StreamYard will let me view it on YouTube. Let's see here. Pre-recorded, scheduled for 3 a.m. It shows it right there. View on YouTube. That's what I want to do. Oh, look at that. So now you guys get the exclusive link because it's not showing up in our upcoming program list yet. So y'all got the exclusive early link to the Insomnia show starting at 3:00. Everybody with Shake and Crypto. I forget who their special guest was, if anybody. Hold on. Wild Card Edition. I'm not sure if they had a guest or not, but that starts just at 3 and on the East Coast Eastern time zone, and that we'll have a live chat for y'all to talk in. Usually goes about an hour or two. You gonna hang out here all night, AB? Even after I shut it down? Maybe I'll unblock you on my personal side, on my personal account, one of these days. The only time I see your comments are when I'm in StreamYard because it shows the Finn's Tailgate comments. And we don't have you blocked, unfortunately. No, but they do hand out, AB, they don't hand out rings for 3 straight playoff wins. But they do hand out couches for the teams that he beat. No, I can't though. I don't want to. I am not the Finns tailgate, so that would have to come with a democratic vote and all of that nonsense. So we don't. That's why we don't block you. People around here actually like you. I have no idea why, but I probably would lose the vote. It's beyond me, man. It's beyond me. So as the title of the show says, Dolphins freeze in KC. McD fails to overcome the QB, but it is still rainbows and sunshine. And that is the essence of tonight's talk show, whatever you want to call it. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Oh, that's what I forgot. Hold on. I got to bring up the exact number. Ladies and gentlemen, and all stops between, the Finns tailgate, as of sometime today, has eclipsed 6,000 subscribers. Give y'all a hand. Yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. We have eclipsed 6,000 subscribers. We have 6,002. Thank you for those, the 9 or so we got today that pushed us over the edge. You guys should be really proud of yourselves, and I feel honored that many of you have chosen to subscribe to our content, and encourage y'all to keep coming. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going to do shows, pop-up shows like this. We still got the same team. We're moving into, we're adding new software and moving into transitioning into different ways. We're bringing you content, but it's only going to get better, and that's because of you guys. So unfortunately, our Finns couldn't take a victory lap tonight, Deuce. But we at the Finns Tailgate can take our victory lap. Make sure you're going to our website, TFTGnetwork.com. Check out our merch store. Get yourself a cooking folk apron. The brainchild of the rabid dolphin, Lewis. It's a really fun gift. Color commentary coffee mug. Big old CC, just like you see there on my avatar. Finn's Tailgate on the other side. Check out all the other guys' merch too. Ollie's got some merch. Tonk. I don't know who else we got merch for back up there yet, but Shake, I guess. Yeah, everybody. And of course, all the TFTG merch. You can get a flag. Really awesome flag. Looks sort of like this. There's the cooking folk apron. But also, do us a favor. If you need anything from Fanatics, which we know you do, you're going to have to get a new quarterback jersey here pretty soon. Make sure you're using the link down below in the comments section, in the description section, and that'll let Fanatics know that we told you to go there, and we'll get credit for that recommendation. Also, check out Dubby Energy Drinks. All smash, no crash. Get the dub with Dubby Energy Drinks. And of course, like I said, our stuff. Make sure you're going to TFTGnetwork.com to check out all of the content there. It's all centralized and curated. It'll get you links to all of our shows here. Profile links for other social media sites, Twitter, all that stuff. Follow me at ColorCom on Twitter. I'm nearing 1,000 followers. You believe it took me that long to get 1,000 followers on Twitter? because I don't willy-nilly, like just do the whole thing. I just like most of my 1,000 followers or close to are like people that are like not going to be dicks, for lack of a better way to say it. 943 I'm up to. Wow. I might be something one day. So get over to Twitter, or X as they call it now. Look for @CullerCom, CULLERCOMM, CullerCom, and follow me. I usually I don't put a lot of stuff out there, but on Twitter, but I'll say a few things here. Sometimes I'll go into spaces. But other than that, look, we got a long off season coming up. We still got a lot of good football to watch if you're interested. Hope everybody got home from the stadium safe tonight, or back to the hotel, or wherever you're going. And congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning another playoff game. We got a lot to work on, people. So make sure you're going over to this link right here. In about 8 minutes, you will be able to hit up the currency connection for another Insomnia episode, which will have live chat going on in it. Recorded show, but live chat. Maybe Shake will show up and say hi. Who knows? I think everybody went to sleep. But I really don't know where we go from here. I mean, the easy answer is get another quarterback. And that's kind of where I feel right now. I don't know if I'm going to change that feeling. I don't know. Before I go, I will go ahead and look at these poll results. I almost forgot, like I did the other night. So the question was, make sure you're getting in there and answering. You still got a little bit of time while I read the question again. Then get ready to shut down the poll. The question again was, who goes, who stays? Mike McDaniel, Tua, neither, #run it back, or both. Beg for Harbaugh. Those are the 4 answers to the question, who goes and who stays. 143 of you have already voted. Thank you for all of you that have voted. Excuse me. 57 of you still watching. If you haven't voted, get in your vote real quick. I'm about to click the button to end it. 143 of you. Currently, 39% of you say Tua. 35% say both. 17% say neither. And only 8% of you think Mike McDaniel alone. Going in the future, into the offseason, I'd like to talk to you, those 8%. Excuse me. So still 143. Nobody else voted. I'm going to go ahead and end it right now. And there are your results, people. Read them and weep. Unreal. I mean, not unreal, actually, just surreal, I guess. So once again, everybody, thank you very much for joining Culler for some late night Culler commentary. Once again, our guys went down 26-7 in the wild card playoff game. And here comes the offseason, people. So keep your fins up, keep your peduncles down, and let's keep driving forward. Let's get better. So y'all have a good night, good morning. Enjoy playoff football going forward, and fins up, everybody.